All starts with the quarterback. The quarterback's playing really well. The running back's leading the league in rushing. Brandon Ayuk's playing well. The offensive line, we're not talking about them because they're not doing anything that's worth talking about in terms of giving up sacks or whatnot. The defense is flying around with Warner and Greenlaw. But we got people chirping. And you brought up the big duels, and I want to get to that, the greatest duels in Niners history. Or we got to have a fun conversation with that because there's a lot of duels. And I don't think there's any wrong answers.
I agree.
But I am focused on some things that people are saying. And I've always said, man, I don't care what the national media says. And I really don't.
Okay.
I see the sound, and I see these little bites. Like, for example, Micah Parsons did nothing on Sunday. Nothing.
Yeah, the one tackle for loss.
Nothing.
That I can remember.
He had more bark after the game than he had during the game. Check this out on this podcast.
Okay.
George Kittle had 3 touchdowns on us, and he posted this thing to IG. He said, F Dallas. I just feel like he's making it way more personal than it had to be. Kittle's my guy, but I'm going to say this. Laugh now, cry later. We got something for that. Just trust. If we see them again, just trust. And we're going to put it just like that. I ain't going to put too much on it. You're going to make it personal. We can make it personal. That's cool.
We've made it personal 3 years in a row. Micah, what you doing? Put the podcast down. Put the podcast down. Like seriously. You didn't know it was personal? Where you been, Micah? You play for the Cowboys. You know how important Niners-Cowboys is to this league?
Yeah.
You know how it is to this country. It's Sunday Night Football. Just trust what? Trust that you're going to get beat again? What are we trusting from you, Micah Parsons? Are we trusting in Dak and Mike McCarthy? And Jerry Jones? What are we trusting? Just trust. Just trust what? Trust what?
Too many podcasts. There's too many athletes with podcasts. And again, Parsons, like the Niners, like, to your point, the Niners have beaten them in the playoffs 2 years in a row and ended their season.
Well, remember he said
they just destroyed them. I don't know why he's saying anything.
Yeah,
because Kittle's wearing a shirt.
Right. Well, he was talking before the first playoff game 2 years ago or 2021 in Dallas when Kittle's like, we like to bully people, play big boy football. And Micah Parsons like, well, I used to beat up bullies. And you could try that on me.
Bullies got bullied.
Well, he got bullied in that game. He had to leave the game for a minute. Then after the game, in that offseason, he was like, I was still hurting 2 weeks after that Niner game. So it sounds like you got bullied in that game. Maybe you should take it personal, Micah. Maybe. By the way, I want to shout out this Eagle fan that's in the chat right now. Because we didn't get to this Friday, but I want to know how Eagle fan watched that game Sunday. Did the Eagle fan root for the Cowboys or root for the Niners? How was the Eagle fan watching that game on Sunday night? Because I'm watching the Eagles too.
It's a good question.
And you're bringing up all these breakdowns before the show about Jalen Carter. And we know we're on a collision course against Philadelphia.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. So I watched them like the Niners are playing. I'm watching everything. Who's pulling on the line? What plays are they running? Jalen Hurts, where's he looking? A.J. Brown, how to defend him? Well, you can't defend him. He's just a beast.
Yeah.
He's catching passes one-handed over the middle of the field, scoring touchdowns before halftime. He's a problem. So I want to know how Eagle fans watch that game Sunday night. Or are they just so above everything that, they probably went to sleep or something. I don't know. I want to know.
It's very interesting. The Eagles and the Niners feel like they're on a collision course, and this feels like one of the big-time regular season games. Like, if it's got almost in its own unique way,
right?
It's got a Brady Manning regular season feel to it. Remember those games back in the day when they would play? It was like, okay, the winner of this game will probably get home field advantage, and you're going to have to go through that team's venue to get to the Super Bowl, which makes it infinitely harder. And we all believe, like, Peyton outdoors. I don't know.
Foxborough. And then they started complaining about bump and runs and pass interference, and they changed the rules because it was too physical out there for
Absolutely.
them. It's kind of happening with the Dallas Cowboys. They're they're not physical enough. And as the text line here, Comcast Business text line says, 650, Micah has 0 sacks in 3 games he's played against the Niners.
Yeah, he's done nothing. He's done nothing. Well, now, conversely, I look at someone like Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner, and they're popping against teams like the Cowboys. Now, look. There have been some great duos in 49er history, Monte. Some great duos. I did not go back in the time and go Frankie Albert and R.C. Owens with the alley-oop. Nobody saw it. I'm not going to go that far back on you. I'm not going to go Hardy Brown and Leo the Lion Namalini. All right?
It's okay if you do it. Just when I go down the 70s and 80s, you guys like to make fun of me.
Now, some of these don't belong on the list together because they've got some crazy. I mean, some of these stats are gratuitous. They're so ridiculous. All right. But I'm going to start at the bottom and we'll work our way up. Okay. Just some combinations that I wrote down. Combos. All right. We've got Montana and Rice, and I got the stats here. We got Rice and Taylor. We got Steve Young and Jerry Rice. We got T.O. and Rice. We got Willis and Bowman. We've got Alden Smith and Justin Smith. Bosa and Buckner. Vernon and Alex? Question mark. Cap and Crab?
Vernon and Alex.
I know. Question mark.
You're reaching.
I know.
I'd rather you just say Garrison Hurst or Kevin Barlow because they were a good 1-2 punch for a season.
Okay.
Were they not?
Jimmy and Kittle?
Were they not? Oh, gosh. I don't.
Jimmy and Kittle. Hey, look. In 51 games, Kittle had 250 catches, 17 touchdowns, and 3,000 yards with Jimmy. I know. It's not Montana and Rice.
Are you sure all those numbers are attributed to Jimmy
yes,
or Nick Mullins?
I algorithmed it. You can go on StatMuse and you can look at specific stats with them.
I know. I'm just making sure.
So, okay, who else would you add to this in terms of greatest duos in Niner history?
Jimmy and Vernon Davis. Alex and Vernon Davis.
They did have a nice connection.
I guess.
I move past that.
I guess. Derek Lavelle, Adam Walker.
Why?
John Taylor, Jerry Rice.
I've got
T.O., Jerry Rice. Hurst and Barlow had a year.
How about Dante Whitner and Golson?
Not bad.
Not on the same level prolific-wise as some of these others.
No, they were good. Who was the safeties in 2019 for the Niners? Jimmy Ward and who's our strong safety?
Jaquaski Tart.
Jaquaski Tart. They weren't a bad duo. Craig and Rathman. They were really good.
That's a good. See, Craig and Rathman's a really good one.
No, I mean,
that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Ricky and Bar None.
I mean, what about some of the defensive players?
Well, that's why I went with Alden and Justin Smith.
What about Michael Carter inside with Charles Haley?
I like that one.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that
Ted
one.
Washington, you want to throw him in there. What about Stubblefield and Bryant Young inside?
See, that's a great one. One guy won defensive player, or not defensive player of the year. He did it later on. But one guy won rookie of the year. The other guy went to the All-Pro that year.
Right. So, I mean, you had Ronnie Lott. Any duo you want to put him with.
When you think
Who do you want to put Ronnie Lott with? Eric Wright? Carlton Williamson? Dwight Hicks?
Fuller?
Any duo works. Jeff Fuller? Any duo works.
What would you say is the best duo in 49er history? Most people associate.
Probably Rice and Montana.
Okay, Rice and Montana.
You could go Dwight Clark, Montana.
That's a good one. 55 games, Rice and Montana.
You could go Wendell Tyler and Roger Craig.
No one's going Wendell Tyler. I love you, bro. No one's going there.
Why? He was really good.
He was, but no one's going to go there.
Why
they're going to go. They're going to go
there?
Steve Young and Jerry Rice before that.
All right.
386 catches, 6,000 yards,
you know
67
Hold on,
touchdowns.
Stop for a second, because we all know Rice and Young and Montana and Rice are going to be at the top of this exercise. We know that going in. Wendell Tyler, Roger Craig is a better duo than Alex Smith and Vernon Davis. It's a better duo than Jimmy G and George Kittle. It's a better duo than a lot of duos that you just named. Wendell Tyler and Roger Craig, put some respect on their names.
Okay.
I mean, Alex Smith should not be part of any duo.
They had 13 touchdowns together in one season.
All right, great.
I'm just saying.
He had to throw to somebody.
That was the tight end record at the time.
He had to throw to somebody.
I'm just trying to stay in recent
Sean
memory.
Hill threw also. Did Sean Hill play? No, he didn't play in that year.
No, but he did throw a lot of touchdowns to him. No, but like Montana and Rice, I looked at it, 67 touchdowns in 55 games, 6,000 yards. Then I look at Steve Young and Jerry Rice, 780 catches, 11,000 yards, 119 touchdowns. 119!
I was going to go Jeff Garcia and Cedric Wilson. Is that a great duo?
No.
It's not?
No. How about this one? So Willis and Bowman. I know we're going to get to Baldy in a second. Willis and Bowman. How many games do you think they played together?
I don't know. 100, maybe 80, 70.
Close. 58. 58. Right. 320. This is the combined numbers over a 2.5-year period. For Bowman, had 327 tackles. Willis, 360 tackles, 15 sacks combined, 11 forced fumbles, 6 interceptions. And I look at the Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. They've got about 40-something games together. They don't even come close to some of those stats. Willis and Bowman, looking back on it and actually diving in, they were unbelievable.
What about Arnaz Battle and Tim Rattay?
No. Break.
Are you kidding? I see some great ones on YouTube.
Are you seeing some good one?
Trey Juck and Jeremy Shockey. I'm not going to read that one, Monty, Not going to read that one. That's a good one, but I'm not going to read it.
How about Jim Harbaugh and delay of game penalties?
Yeah,
that was a great duo.
That was a great duo. That's a great duo.
Jimmy and the Jimmy O no throw.
Chip Kelly and Kaepernick. Washington Eddie D. No, that's a very good duo.
I love that duo.
That's a
See,
great
now
duo.
that's what I'm talking about.
That's a great duo. Jeff Olbrich, Derek Smith, very underrated.
Who would you say right now is
duos? The colors red and gold.
I like that.
Ooh.
Who would you say is
Taylor
Brock's go-to guy right now?
Brandon Ayuk.
You think it's Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah.
You think in a
But
couple
at the
years
same
we're going to look back and go, that's the duo?
I don't know.
I mean, because Montana had Roger Craig, he had Brent Jones, he had Dwight, and we always go Montana Rice.
Maybe you go Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, maybe.
That's Equal Bowen and Michael Crabtree wasn't around long enough.
Well,
Tim McKay or Don Griffin.
Oh, that's funny.
Don Griffin used to get burnt. Oh my gosh, burnt toast.
Rice and Taylor were together from 87 to 95. They won 3 Super Bowls. And if you just look at the numbers, their numbers are pretty incredible. And those are also some of Rice's best years.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Tyler with the duo with Brock. I know you like to project, but I'm one of those, like, let me see it play out.
Well, I'm asking right now, who do you think his number one guy is?
I don't know. He spreads the ball around so much.
I know.
Which is the beauty of his game. Like, and the thing, I want to see him finish the season. I want to see him play 17. I want to see him play next year. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doubting anything that he does on the football field, but the way he spreads the ball around, like, I don't, that's a great thing about this offense, which we talk about all the time. 1 week it could be Brandon Ayuk. 1 week it's going to be George Kittle.
That's a good point. 1
week it's going to be Debo. 1 week is going to be a big CMC game. Now, everything revolves around CMC. That's where it starts. But that's a great thing about this offense. So you don't have to lock in on who's a number one. Kind of like on this show. A chair, B chair, C chair, all that stupid stuff in radio. Who cares? We got a show. Got a good show. The Niners have a good offense. It's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's, you know what? Who's open? Who's the hot man? Let's just cook. Let's score 30. And that's the most important thing to me. You know what I'm saying? And Brock Purdy, like, is cooked. That's a great thing, too. 2-minute drive, for example, against the Rams, right? They start off that drive, no timeouts down 17-10. Quick little dump off to McCaffrey, boom. Okay, can't let go on McCaffrey. If we do, there's Debo Samuel on the next play. Oh, wait, there's Jawan Jennings running down the seam. Wait, there's Brandon Ayuk. So the great thing about this offense is you can't really double anybody because you just have no idea where Brock's going with the football.
No, there's no doubt. It does, though, feel like down the field, he really has a good feel with Brandon Ayuk. Like,
does.
But he trusts Brandon Ayuk to get open. He trusts him to be in the spot. Like, he throws a lot of like, hey, I'm going to let this rip. You better hit your mark. And Ayuk seems to always be in position. That throw that he layered over the middle of the field, just to the right shoulder, was just absolutely beautiful. And Brian Baldinger broke it down perfectly on his Twitter account.